Welcome to BOJTV's Trending News for top stories in local, regional and international news, along with sports and local weather forecast. I'm Carla. Coming up in your local trending news, PNP schedules anti-corruption vigil for halfway tree. Popular Manchester teacher shot and killed by gunmen at her home in Melrose Mews, Manchester. 1-year-old infant perishes in fire at Bay Farm Road in St Andrew, and Minister Grange tables a sexual harassment bill. Now the details. The People's National Party PNP has scheduled an anti-corruption vigil for tomorrow at Mandela Park in Halfway Tree, St Andrew. The PNP, in a release today, said the decision is to host the vigil comes as allegations of corruptions across several ministries and public bodies heightens, while appropriate action by Prime Minister Andrew Holness's administration has not been taken. The PNP said the vigil is expected to see its members from the party's Region 3 decrying the system of corruption which has gripped the government. Region 3 comprises Kingston and St Andrew. The PNP said the vigil is the first in a series of events across the island to bring awareness to the brazen plundering of public purse by members of the political executive and their operatives who are yet to be brought to book. The PNP expressed that through its parliamentary groups and committee, it has exposed the alleged wanton corruption in various ministries and agencies. The party said that these include the Ministry of Science, Energy and Technology, the Ministry of Education, the Ministry of National Security, and the Caribbean Maritime University, Petrojam, USF, NISAL, the UDC, and through projects such as the $800 million debushing program, the $230 million purchase of used cars for police that are yet to be delivered in full. A popular teacher was shot and killed at her home in Melrose Mews district in Manchester this morning. She has been identified as 43 years old, Carolyn Davis Campbell, a science teacher at the Bishop Gibson High School in Mandeville. According to the Manchester Police, Mrs. Davis Campbell was at home at about 1 a.m. with her husband when armed men forced their way inside the house. Davis Campbell's husband reported that when the door to their bedroom was kicked in, he rolled from the bed, then heard several explosions, after which the gunmen retreated. Mrs. Davis Campbell, who was still on the bed, was shot several times. Her husband was not harmed. The police were called to the scene and the teacher's body removed and pronounced dead at hospital. The police, who are still collecting statements, believe the incident was a contract killing. An infant was killed in a fire which destroyed a family home at Bay Farm Road in St Andrew yesterday afternoon. The child has been identified as 1-year-old Neymar Facey of the same address. Reports are that about 6 p.m. yesterday, residents in the community saw fire coming from the 5-apartment concrete dwelling house and raised an alarm. The police and the fire department were called in, and after the firemen managed to extinguish the blaze, the infant's charred remains was found laying on a bed in one of the rooms. The police say the parent of the child was not inside the dwelling at the time of the fire, and investigations of a child neglect has been launched. The House of Representatives on Tuesday approved changes to the Interception of Communications Act, which will allow wider usage of its provisions to electronically monitor criminals, including gangsters and lottery scammers. The amendments, which were approved with the support from the government and the opposition, will reportedly increase the police's ability to monitor communications by criminal suspects and provide evidence for their apprehension, as well as for information on their illegal gains. Security Minister Dr. Horace Jang said that the changes remove some of the challenges being faced by the police in prosecuting suspected gang leaders and lottery scammers. The changes will also assist the police in terms of prosecution under the Proceeds of Crime Act, which seeks to relieve criminals of the earnings of their illegal activities. The Minister of Culture, Gender, Entertainment and Sport, the Honourable Olivia Grange, has tabled a bill entitled An Act to Make Provisions for the Prevention of Sexual Harassment and for Connected Matters. The Minister tabled the bill in the House of Representatives on Tuesday. Minister Grange said the bill is intended to protect women and men whose quality of life is affected by intimidating, hostile or offensive environments caused by unwanted sexual advances, requests for sexual favours and crude sexual behaviour behaviors. The bill includes proposals for dealing with sexual harassment in the workplace, schools, correctional institution, place of safety, nursing homes, medical and psychiatric facilities, among other places. According to the minister, the bill proposes to ensure an environment free of sexual harassment as well as mechanisms to deal with very serious crime. The bill is to be referred to Joint Select Committee shortly. Those were your top stories making local trending news. Now join us for news from across the region, as well as our international story, sports and local weather forecast. From across the region. The Haitian government has announced plans for a major vaccination program for toddlers against measles, rubella, and poliomyelitis. The Ministry of Public Health has said that the vaccination program will be held between July 15 and 19 and will be for children between the ages of 2 and 5 years in all departments of a French-speaking Caribbean community CARICOM country. It said at least 1.5 million children are expected to be vaccinated during the campaign. In international news, the U.S. city of New Orleans is under a storm surge, along with a stretch of the Louisiana coast, as a tropical storm formed in the Gulf of Mexico, threatening the region with potentially life-threatening rains. The storm surge watches warn residents of possible flooding from rising waters and coastal inundations. Conditions appear favorably for this system to strengthen to a hurricane as it approaches the central Gulf Coast by the weekend, the Miami-based National Hurricane Center said. A flash flood emergency was declared early today in New Orleans, part of which is built below sea level and was devastated by Hurricane Katrina in 2005. Parts of the southeastern Louisiana coast were already experiencing heavy rains and flooding, the NHC said. Jefferson Parish, which includes parts of New Orleans, was drenched in 4 to 6 inches of rain, and 2 to 3 more inches were expected. The threat of a hurricane by the weekend, the first of the Atlantic season if it materializes, prompted a flurry of bad weather alerts. Over in our sporting report, New Zealand reached their second World Cup final with a stunning 8-run win over shell-shocked India at Old Trafford this morning. The Black Caps will play hosts England or holders Australia in Sunday's title match at Lord's after pulling off a remarkable triumph against two-time champions India. On our local weather forecast, a insignificant feature trough across Jamaica. The trough is expected to linger across Jamaica until Thursday afternoon, when a high-pressure ridge begins to build across the central Caribbean. The forecast for tonight will see partly cloudy skies. Tomorrow morning, isolated showers and thunderstorms across sections of northeastern parishes, partly cloudy elsewhere. During tomorrow afternoon, widely scattered showers and isolated thunderstorms across sections of most parishes. Windy across most parishes. Minimum temperature expected for Kingston as well as Montego Bay tonight is 25 degrees Celsius. That was BOJTV's Trending News, your top local, regional and international stories, as well as a sport report and weather forecast. Until next time, I'm Carla. Thanks for watching.